just over 2,000 hands into this challenge, slightly higher stakes than we have seen before.
Yeah, man, it's two of online PLO's GOATs really going after it. You know, I remember watching some of Phil's training videos for Run It Once, like back in 2016, 17, and you would always see Actionfreak in the mix, playing like the 10-20 6 max on stars that they used to grind together, and it's yeah, it's pretty cool to have them both battling out and putting on a show for us here as well.
Here on F It Fridays in the Galfond Challenge.
7 of spades on the river, Phil.
Phil says F it. Pot. How will Actionfreak respond?
In the tank. Man, I've given up like trying to, you know.
F It Friday working out for Phil with the single 7 in his hand.
Trying to guess what Actionfreak's calling range is there.
Actionfreak saying F it AF. Makes the call without even a 7. And we have got a big pot in action here. I think this is a 4-bet alert, my babies.
Get the horn out. There we go.
Brand new and improved 4-bet horn for this next challenge. I don't know if you can tell, but the horn has had an upgrade.
That's it. Quite the upgrade there, Jay. It must have cost quite a bit of money.
It really did. I invested, you know, Phil invested a lot in me for having me as part of the first challenge, and now I'm investing that back in him. 16,000 in the middle. Phil pots it. There's a raise from Actionfreak. It looks like we are going to see you at the river. Aces for Phil. Set of 8s for Actionfreak running clubs. Phil gets there.
Wow.
Machi, 80,000 in the middle. I've been streaming 6 to 7 days a week. However, I have been cooking a lot more, obviously, like most people.
Yeah.
And I find that cooking is a lot like sex.
Go on.
It's easy. It's really not difficult to do it well. The hard part is getting things to finish at the same time. That's the only thing I struggle with, is that like the potatoes are done like an hour before the rest of it.
Oh, man.
And then the potatoes are getting cold and bored for a while they wait for the chicken to finish. And that's the only part I struggle. And then, of course, cleanup is the real ball ache. Pot size bet from Actionfreak on table number 1. And that is a pot size raise from Phil Galfond. Phil with a not pot size bet left behind.
Yeah, so Phil basically saying it's got Jack 10 with a redraw. So maybe he's picked up diamonds on the turn. Maybe he's got like King Jack 10 or Jack 10 with 2 pair and diamonds. I think they're a bit too deep to. Oh, it's going to go in the middle.
There it is. It isn't. There's the Jack 10, no diamonds. And they're going to chop it up.
Wow, it's Actionfreak that had the redraw. Saw Phil retweet Actionfreak's graph the other day. Up until 2018, one of the sickest graphs I've ever seen.
The people who are asking about this lead for Phil, deficit for Actionfreak, did you not watch the first Galfond challenge? Like, we're 300K is not a thing. It's not a big deal. Like, it's nice. It's a good spot to be in if you're fit. But Phil is down 900,000 and came back to win. Like, it happens. Everyone talks about it. I don't even know how this is even a discussion right now. Ooh, is this a big deal? No!
Really interesting board on table Friday. 6 is on the board. Missed the action pre-flops. I don't know if it was a 3-bet pot. Whose range this favors.
Pot and pot. Table effort and table Friday. Action on, action in position in both spots. Both spots on the river. Both spots with potential flushes and paired boards. Although
Wow.
the 3-6s is a little different than a paired board, isn't it? King's good for Actionfreak.
It's not fair. If it's a 100k pot, I don't want it to be a chop pot. Someone has to win it. I've run in like insanely above EV in my aces versus aces spots lifetime. Yeah, I even not yesterday, day before. I think I scooped like 5 aces versus aces spots. I played like.
I don't think I've
hands.
ever won an aces versus aces pot, and I've definitely lost a few. That's part of the reason I don't play PLO, because I always like get into these spots where I'm like, okay, I'm not playing this anymore.
No, definitely, yeah. Up lifetime, aces versus aces. Stapes 4-bet horn says, I've won ace king off versus ace king suited several times.
Ugh.
That's tough. With many, I mean 3 times. 18-6 in the middle.
And he checks to fill in position.
You did it as well. I'm not the only one. Thank God for that. It's
What?
called Actionfreak. You just called Actionfreak, Vinny.
I said
I
Vinny.
did it.
That's awesome.
I did it twice, and I don't think anyone called me out on it. So thanks for not calling me out.
Oh man, that's embarrassing, but also totally understandable after calling whatever I did 13,000 hands of the last challenge. Actionfreak calls the pot size river bet from Phil. Phil shows the full house. Actionfreak sitting out. Maybe time for the first break of the day. That is going to put Phil pretty much back to even for the day. Matthias 1794 asks, is there a stop loss in this challenge? No, there is not. Usual pull-out rules apply. If you want to pull out, there is a penalty.
I feel like only you get away with the stuff that you insinuate.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You know exactly what I'm talking about, Joe. This would be insane if there was 6 tabling. It'd be over in like 2 days. Well, actually, no, not 2 days. Give it a week. 6 tabling for 6 hours. Math isn't my strong point.
Why do you say math instead of maths? Are you just translating for me?
Yeah.
And Phil's put in a big raise here on table F it. He says F it on F it Friday. Pot size raise. Well, Actionfreak F it back. He does and takes down another pot. I'm actually a very good wingman, but also I got to tell you, my girlfriend is an incredible wingman.
I bet you are really good. I imagine you just like, hey, have you met my friend Henry? Just like throw me in the deep end.
I do the exact right amount of throwing you in the deep end without making it cringe.
I'm looking forward to it. Where are we going? Omnia.
I used to have a friend that thought he was a good wingman, and he would just awkwardly introduce 2 people and then walk away. And then the both of us would be like, we don't want to talk to each other, do we? And no. All right, big bet here, Table Friday. Big pot here, Table Friday. We've got almost 13,000 out there. All of the flop draws have whiffed.
Oh, Phil says pot.
Yes, he does. Phil down 43,000 on the day. And Actionfreak looks him up this time, isn't right. Phil's straight arrives on the river. 3-bet pot, table Friday.
He did adapt eventually. To adapt
He
against
started
Venny.
doing it less frequently too, I would say.
He started doing it to induce. I remember a couple
Yeah.
of spots where he would use the sizing and then put Venny in the bin. I was like, Phil, yes, mate, let's go.
I mean, and that's why you play 25,000 hands. That's why you play 15,000 hands. We all have that idea when we're playing our little short games of poker, right? Like, oh, I'm gonna wait till I get in this situation again and I have it. Then I'm really gonna get them. And then you don't play enough hands for that ever to come up.
Yeah, I feel like there've been a few things that I've been doing, and it's just rustiness. Like I've been in America for 2 months, but there have been a few things seen as leaks in my game where I keep just getting put in the bin a lot in certain spots. It's the beautiful thing about poker, though.
Speaking of getting put in the bin,
Go on.
Chicago.
Yes.
What were your parting words?
Sorry?
What were your parting words as you left Chicago?
There actually weren't any. It was just putting all my stuff in a suitcase and ordering an Uber.
What were the actual last words exchanged between you two? There we go. Finally, a big pot goes Phil's.
I must say, like, for a poker player, I did okay, right?
There's no way you guys didn't fight every second of every day, though.
How do you know that?
This ain't my first rodeo, my friend.
You're an absolute legend, mate.
Speaking of legends, the legend Phil Galfond betting full pot on table. F it. F it says AF. Raise on this Jack 10-5 2 diamond board. How will our hero Phil Galfond respond?
Yeah, it's one of those boards where stacks are going to go flying in.
And it doesn't. It's aces versus the set of tens. Running diamond. No help to Phil. And that is the first all-in pot we've seen go Actionfreak's way. Now sitting on a stack of over 100,000 euros.
That's really interesting game from Phil. Love to see a replay on that one, if we could, Nick.
I think we can accommodate that.
Oh, over on Friday as well. 27k in the middle. 4 spades on board. And Phil says, rest, please, dealer. Think he can do this with queen high spades. Specifically, queen 7.
All in the call for Actionfreak. Action, don't call me Venny Freak.
Does make
Actionfreak does call. And Phil's got the queen high flush.
Wow. Actionfreak with the ace of spades blocker.
That is 4 bets. You guys see it. I see it. We all see it. 4-bet Friday. F it Friday. 16,000 in the middle. Pre-flop. Queen 5 deuce 2 hearts. F it Friday in full effect on table Friday. Who will be the first one to F it post flop? Action on Phil, who
Spicy sizing.
Yeah, bets a third of the pot.
Like aces with nut hearts. And a queen, maybe?
Optimistic. What about, oh boy, Another turn. Action Freak with less than a pot-sized bet left behind. Will Phil put him in for the rest?
There's a spicy turn card.
Goes check, check. 8 of spades on the river. Action Freak, last chance for aggression.
Queen 7.
Checks it. Action Freaks went
Hearts
for
do
one
break.
for one.
There's a pretty clean run out for aces.
This is one of the least aggro 4-bet pots we've seen throughout the course of all of these challenges. Four-bet pots make me horny. Hearts did brick. Jack's good?
Jack's good. Well, I think we also want to be 4-betting ace, jack, jack 5 just to balance our 4-betting range as well, right?
Okay, but it's a balanced 4-bet, not a value 4-bet.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a nut suit, we've got connectivity around the ace and the jack and the ace and the 5, so we've got decent board coverage as well. I think it's fine. Honestly, I don't think it's like that loose of a 4-bet, especially in heads up. Maybe in like 6-max environment, it would be considered because it was single suited. But
so if you're 4-betting ace, jack, jack 5, then you're 4-betting like ace, queen, queen, whatever, and ace, king, king, whatever too?
Yeah. I mean, even in 6-max, like I'm getting ace, king, king 5 in, like ace, king, king 5 double
That
suit.
makes sense to me. I mean, that makes sense. It's just, so what is, are you 4-betting ace, 10, 10, 5?
Again, at a certain frequency, yes.
Right. Because you need to be balanced.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can't like expect every 4-bet pot, someone to, or the 4-better to show up with aces because, yeah.
Yeah, no, you can actually. That's the point I'm trying to make. But a pot size bet on table F it. I mean, look, 4-betting ace, jack, jack 5 is definitely allowed on F it Fridays. I mean, that's exactly the kind of effing it I'm talking about.
All about the F it Fridays. You're not here tomorrow for Chat Pro Saturdays?
Chat Pro Saturday is probably not going to be in my schedule for the next little while.
They're getting paid.
Ronnie the Cat says, Stapes, mate, you haven't a clue about poker, mate. Thank you for your comment.
Hearts do get there.
What will he do in position on table F it?
Phil actually boated up with his danglers to his aces.
Let's see how his danglers do on table F it. Very deep stack table. Phil's pot size riverback gets called by the king high flush. Skrmir says Americans put their state, everyone else puts their country. That would probably be because most of the countries are smaller than almost every U.S. state. Robert Pankowski from my couch. Thank you for your question. Nice. Monotone board. 5, 7, 8, 9, all clubs. Can we see it? Can we see it? Can we see a straight flush? Can we do it? The 4-6, which apparently people have all the time against the Jack 10. Huh? Pot size bet from Phil. Freak calls. 25K pot. Board pairs. Action checks AF. Phil in position. What a board, says Mega Manny. As Phil pots it. A little pottage for the cottage. Action Freak all in to call. Action Freak does call, and Phil has got it.
Never been to LA. I've heard that it takes like an hour to drive anywhere.
It can. LA, you spend a lot of time in the car. That's why visiting LA is not that fun.
Yeah.
Because you can only do one. Right? You go to New York City and you're like, we went to the Met, and then we went to the Empire State Building, and then we saw Jimmy Fallon, and then we went to Coyote Ugly. And in LA, you're like, you can do one of those things in a day.
It's pretty much the same in London. Like London's like, oh yeah, let's go to the Tate. Takes you about a week to get there and back.
It does take a long time to get around London.
Yeah.
Action Freak betting pot on both tables, F it and Friday here on F it Fridays. Phil makes the call. He's going to win a 5-figure pot over on F it. What about Friday?
What a sicko. More importantly, 27K in the middle over on Friday.
It's F it Fridays. Action Freak checks to Phil in position. He gets a free check back if he wants. Action Freak had been the aggressor up until this point.
And ball changing river card.
And Phil does check it back. And he decides to lead at this. Well, he was the 3-better, right? That makes sense. Hello. Not a pot size. Continue. Jack on the turn. And another small bet from Phil.
That's a funky sizing.
The Action Freak does call.
What was that, like 10, 12% pot?
It was tiny. And there, now it's the full pot bet. Not a line we see very often from any of the folks we've seen in the challenge thus far, especially not Phil.
Phil mixing it up.
Action
Boom.
Freak makes the call, and Phil's rivered the boat 3 jacks before that. And another yay Phil, LFG PG. The main character also plays blackjack in the movie, but most of the gambling scenes are poker scenes.
Oh man, that tilts me so much. When people ask me,
do you count cards?
Yeah.
Yeah, so my main, looks like we're having another break here.
I think Action Freak.
Is that it?
Yeah, he said GG.
Oh, did we call it a day? We talked over the end of the match. Sorry, guys. I thought we were going for at least another hour today.